That's a bit of a strong word. I know she died.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word dead either.
No, I can see.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yes.
So I think it's almost, I don't know.
What is that?
What's going on?
Welcome to Death, a Changing Industry, the podcast that explores the profound and often uncertain territory of coping with loss and grief.
Once we understand the feelings associated with loss, then actually we can prepare for how we connect to it when someone dies.
This could create such a positive change that people go, you know what, this is just normal.
It's
as normal as scrolling and looking at what do I order in my supermarket shop as talking about death.
But the only thing worse than talking about what you want to happen when you die with those you love is not talking about it.
If you feel like you're going to live forever, you know you won't, but you do. And then when you're given a terminal illness, all of that is scrapped.
So when someone dies, particularly if they die traumatically, but however they die, it interrupts your life schema, the story, your life narrative, let's call it.
I describe it as the absolute pea super of grief, really. Just descended into a darkness, not knowing which way to turn, what I needed to do.
You're holding this family's emotions and you just think, oh, I know you didn't want to face this day. I know you nobody wants to be here doing this and saying goodbye to that person, but you are faced with it.
I am, on the inside, that 5,000-year-old crone or hag of the village that sits there and holds space for the dying. That's what you had.
Yeah.
And in other religions, it is that elder, normally female, that holds space, that either reads prayer or mantra. It's about crystals, sound, vibrations.
Either you're empathise, you know someone who's lost someone, or you've lost someone, and that is, there's no in between.
Will was referred to in court as the debris in the road.
I can remember raging actually at the grave because the gates had been closed, it was after dusk, and I just wanted to be near him at the grave, and I sort of climbed over the sort of sharp posts and went in there.
I remember so clearly thinking, does murdered mean he's alive? I couldn't compute what the word meant because it was so out of my everyday.
Died is softer almost than dead.
Well, I think dead you see a body. They died a while ago. I think dead you see the image of a dead body.
Okay.
So like a child, for example, in school could lose a dog, their dog could die, and another child could lose a sibling. They could feel the grief just as powerful. We have to take that judgment off the table that, it's just a dog, or it was just your cousin, or it was just your uncle, or whatever it is.
What's amazing now is to see that people are really starting to think of a funeral as a true opportunity to celebrate somebody.
So we ordered the cheapest coffin, which would have been very satisfactory to Dad. They left it unvarnished and without handles, and we literally stuck cartoons all over the sides of the coffin and the lid, and it looked magnificent.
With kids being naturally curious, it's better for them to learn in the safety of the classroom than it is to go and look for themselves elsewhere. Where else are they going to turn?
And I basically witnessed him have massive tantrums, massive outbursts, anxiety, wouldn't leave my side, outbursts at school, so many things.
For many children, there's this mystical association with death, but we know as adults that it is inevitable.
Without life, there's not death, and without death, there's not life.
If they've got questions and they're not getting answered, they're going to find out from things on the internet.
How are we getting it so wrong in society? What's happened? Okay, that's interesting. Wow.
And that little piece of reality, again, means that you face that reality, and that does support you.
Am I treating myself as I would somebody else? What advice would I be sitting here giving someone else if they were going through a similar thing? Maybe I need to look at me. Am I doing this for me?
120 years ago, the only National Association of Funeral Directors decided that funeral directors needed to come together because it was by coming together that they could better serve the bereaved.
So is the culture like, get on with it, forget and move on?
We have to do more internally with the industry to support one another.
I think you might have hit something here.
Sadly, there's still a stigma around mental health, mental fitness, whatever people want to call it, and we're trying to break that down and actually say that this is just so important, it's key.
Because I think we need to do more within the industry.
That daily battle of, am I doing the right thing? You know, I haven't seen my daughter for a few days now. What is this all for?
And I think what it highlights is the work that we carry out in the industry, which goes under the radar. We're just almost there when people need us, and I don't think we value ourselves enough for what we do. But I think some people think that I'm morbid because I keep banging the drum about this, but actually I feel so awake. I'm so grateful and alive, and I think that's what I'm trying to say to people. It's not to wake up every day saying I'm going to die. It's having an awareness, so you're fully grateful for what you've got as well.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.